Now, I'm honored to invite our keynote speaker, Canan Özsoy, to stage. Ms. Özsoy is an advisor to Esin Attorney Partnership. She's an independent board member at Garanti BBVA, CrowdSol, and TechFan, as well as the former CEO of General Electric Turkey. Please.
Good morning, distinguished guests. It's a true pleasure to be here this morning and to talk about sustainability. Well, I see quite a few names that I know that are really experts on this subject, and I said, maybe I am intimidated? Nah, not really. I'm motivated. During the course of today, you will be hearing a lot about sustainability from many different aspects by esteemed speakers who have various experiences and expertise and different points of view. During my professional career as well as my current academic studies, they said on the screen what I make my money with, but the rest of the time I am a student at Özsoy University and I am working on sustainable transition of energy systems in developing countries like Turkey. I've done 3 master's degrees and I said it's about time before I die to get a PhD. So I work with sustainability every day, academically and professionally. So I thought when they kindly asked me to be here this morning, yeah, that's going to be easy. And then, a couple of days ago, I said, let me freshen up and, look at some recent data. I Googled sustainability. Do you know what turned out? 1.65 billion results. So it took me quite a while to sort through it. And let's see if I can give you a simple, lean, yet holistic view that I hope will set the stage for the rest of the day's discussions. And I threw in a couple of real-life examples. So, I think there are 2 definitions that are simple and quite explanatory. Let's start by the simple definition of sustainability. Sustainability is a social goal for people to coexist on our planet over a long period of time, and define long, like millions of years. In other words, it is meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own. It has 3 dimensions, if you prefer 3 pillars: social, economic, environmental. So it is finally about 3 P's: people, planet, and profits. So how are good governance and sustainability related? Are they related? Oh yes, they are. Governance is the process of decision-making and the process by which decisions are implemented, or sometimes not implemented, within organizations, businesses, and other institutions. Sustainability, on the other hand, is the endurance of systems and processes. In other words, sustainability is the ability to maintain a certain level of functioning in the face of change and challenges. Governance and sustainability are intimately connected, and both are essential for the long-term success of organizations. So, one does not give a speech about sustainability without referring to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, I know everybody has heard about it, everybody knows about it. Some of you can even recite the 17 goals one by one. So the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all United Nations members in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future. We are in 2023. Anybody feels like we are reaching global goals? Peace? Anybody? Peace? Prosperity? No. Okay. So it's important to remember and to repeat. These SDGs are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, in a global partnership. I was, for a moment in time, a little bit hopeful when I have seen sort of the collaboration around COVID-19 pandemic, and then it faded, you know. So that was maybe one moment when we learned global collaboration, but not really. These goals recognize that ending poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health, education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans and forests. The roots of these go way back in the early 1990s, where the first milestone is accepted to be the Earth Summit in Rio in 1992. Turkey has been a part in that. At that time, Eczacıbaşı leader Erdal Karamercan, I think, was representing Turkish industries. And since then, many things have been done in Turkey, but still a lot more to do. So, sustainability is critical to maintaining our quality of life, diversity of life on Earth, and the health of Earth's resource-rich ecosystems. Sustainable environmental practices improve water and air quality, reduce landfills, increase renewable energy resources in the long term. These guarantee cleaner and healthier living conditions for all people, and particularly those in low-income countries. In business, however, sustainability not only helps address global challenges, but it also contributes to an organization's overall success. According to McKinsey, companies with the highest ESG scores, metrics, which are the ethical standards and sustainability measures, they consistently outperform the rest of the market. As a result, sustainable companies tend to be the most profitable. Sustainable practices also increase success by protecting a company's brand, mitigating risk, and providing a compelling competitive advantage. This is where it becomes one of companies' and investors' key and critical issue, and I hope you do agree with me. So, I will not talk about financial sustainability. You are all more than experts on this area, and yes, it is very important. One cannot survive without financial sustainability, not in the past, not in the present, and definitely not in the future. However, there are clear signs that without environmental social governance and without sustainable financing, the companies will definitely not survive tomorrow, and even today, thankfully, it started to hurt a bit, to move us all. So, what does sustainability look like today? Here are some trends to look out for right now. These are not shaping our work exactly today, but they are beginning to. So, ESG investing, you're all very familiar with that, prioritizing ESG criteria in addition to financial returns in financing, which is I think, the trend that has picked up the most velocity. Being climate positive, so not only getting to net zero, but also taking out carbon from the system. Affordable renewable energy, we've seen that happen in wind and solar. Now we are seeing it with SMR technology in nuclear. Now we are seeing a wild technological race to take out cost in hydrogen-based systems, etc. And clean transportation. 18 of the world's 20 largest automotive manufacturers have pledged to switch to manufacturing electric vehicles. In China today, I am not counting the number of electrical vehicles, which is by far the biggest number in the world, but they have 8.5 million hydrogen fuel cell vehicles on traffic. So the world is moving very fast. In Istanbul, everywhere I go, I see the plugs for electrical vehicles. And, you know, we were saying a couple of years ago, nah, that's not going to happen. The automotive industry is not going to support it. But it did, and it is changing, and it is changing fast. So climate-friendly consumer products, disclosures from businesses, and, as you will talk later in the afternoon, decarbonization of the food system, while also caring for its sustainability to support the 9 billion people who eat, well, at least once a day for some. Altogether, these trends will be an important step towards creating a world that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. There are a lot of good ESG company examples, as well as many, many, many more that are far from being good examples. Why do you think that is? Let's think about it. So I came across this map that I really, really loved. It is prepared by Morningstar. It's an American financial services company headquartered in Chicago, and its AUM is above $300 billion in 2023. They focus on all kinds of metrics. They were founded by Joe Mansueto in 1984, and it is now run by CEO Kunal Kapoor. So the Morningstar Sustainability Atlas takes a bottom-up approach and discusses the overall sustainability profiles of national equity markets, which are scored based on the companies constituting their indexes. The sustainability rating is a measure of the financially material ESG risks in a portfolio relative to a portfolio's peer group. So let's look at some report cards. Naturally, continental European countries are the global sustainability leaders. For the fourth consecutive year, the Netherlands is the world's most sustainable stock market, thanks to holdings like payment processing company Adyen and the consumer internet group Prosus, and above all, ASML holding, the biggest constituent of the benchmark. ASML is an ESG leader, especially in the corporate governance and human capital fields among semiconductor equipment producers. Finland follows, thanks to big companies like Nokia, a leader within the global technology hardware industry, and Sampo, another important name in the insurance services sector. Sampo holds a very low ESG risk rating. So these are the good examples. France, which has lost 2 positions in the last 2 years, ranks 4th. Important French constituents like global producer and distributor of luxury goods and a very near and dear company to my own heart, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. I carry and drink their products. Electrical equipment supplier Schneider Electric and personal care company L'Oréal are classified as ESG leaders within their industries. However, Taiwan rebounds from 11th place to 5th globally. How come? Thanks to the big role played by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, a global ESG leader. As part of its greenhouse gas emission reduction program, TSMC has a company-wide target to reach net zero by 2050. It plans to use 40% renewable energy for all TSMC operation sites by 2030, and in 2021 it used 100% renewable energy for its global offices. In terms of water resource use management, they incorporate water scarcity and flooding into their enterprise risk management. US, I was surprised, ranks 16th out of 48 that is evaluated. They were the same in 2022, On one hand, companies like Apple, Nvidia, United Health Group, and Visa are considered leaders from a sustainability point of view. On the other hand, the ESG risk ratings for big names such as Amazon, Meta, ExxonMobil are classified as high, and you will know as investors that it's because of all the debates that they create, the controversies within their companies. So I'm not going to go deeper into that, but China falls at the bottom of the fourth quintile, ranking 39th out of 48 markets and losing 9 positions since 2021. Internet giant Tencent is the biggest name within the index, followed by Alibaba. Both companies hold a medium ESG risk rating and have a concerning involvement in controversies. 2 important names within the Chinese index, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, and Bank of China, hold a ESG risk rating classified as high. So, China's ongoing anti-corruption campaign exposes companies to business ethics risks, particularly as the financial system is a key focus on government scrutiny. Finally, Middle East, Latin America, and Eastern European emerging markets, including Turkey and Brazil, occupy the globe's bottom quintile. I think this is worth thinking about. So why don't we do a good job about it from a company point of view, even when it is so obvious that with regulations such as carbon border tax and many others, and the availability of easier access to good, affordable financing, why don't we do it? Well, this is not taken from anywhere. It comes from here, from my many years of experience as a global leader, as somebody who has worked on these topics, observed, read. It comes down to 4 things. The first is about leadership and the board, and that's what you are going to discuss right after my speech, and I'm coming to the end, don't worry. Leaders don't own it, boarders don't own it. It's not out of maliciousness, it's because there are so many other things to do that it doesn't come to the attention of the leader or of the board. So it is up to the leaders and the boards to ask for it, to look for it, and not get lost in the many real pressures of the business world. The second is, there is an oxymoron. We want companies to strive and to invest and to be sustainable in the long term, and we want them to deliver excellent results despite all the tensions, quarter after quarter after quarter. A quarter is 3 months. By the time you disclose your past quarter's results, you are in the middle of the next quarter, and it's always a challenge from a planning point of view, investing point of view, resource allocation point of view. So either we focus on the longer term more and be able to explain it within our reporting, or this is going to continue to be the chicken and egg situation. And there is not enough social awareness yet. Social awareness degradingly falls from west to east and north to south as prosperity decreases. There are other things on the social awareness agenda, but unless everybody owns sustainability, everybody is aware that it is for us, and the people within companies demand it, people who are consumers or suppliers of the companies demand it, it's going to continue at its current slow rate. The last but not least is the regulations. Different governments have different regulations. They are behind the wave. They are behind the technology. They are behind the capability in regulating and incentivizing the shift towards more sustainable practices. Couple of words about General Electric, where I have worked for 15 years as a global leader and then for 10 years as the President and CEO of GE in Turkey. So it was the year 2005 when GE self-declared a program called Ecomagination, where it pledged to reduce its water consumption, its energy consumption, and to reduce its greenhouse emissions all by itself, and hired an outside consultant company to do the auditing and the reporting. The investors were back then a lot skeptical. You know, after the 1992, there came the Kyoto Protocol and many other meetings, Addis Ababa, New York, and GE was well aware that this is coming, and our expertise is within the field of energy, so maybe we thought we could do something about it and earn money with it. So GE's leaders responsible for implementing operating Ecomagination goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and fresh water use, we found the reality has been quite the opposite. Since launching Ecomagination in 2005, GE has invested a total of I got it. How do you make it stop? Huh. Durmuyor. Neyse. Thank you. Okay, I got it. GE has invested a total of 20 billion in cleaner technology solutions that have returned a 270 billion in revenue. The company also reduced its greenhouse emissions by 42% since 2005. So, there are 5 things that we have learned while working on this Ecomagination program. The one is to start with your own house. You know, we did it first and foremost to reduce our own footprint. Secondly, focus on where you can make a big impact. It's a huge goal, and not every company can do everything. We focused on energy as it is a key priority for GE and also a key strength for GE. Tap into your collective brain power. Be as transdisciplinary as you can. Include everybody within the company who has an idea. And the best ideas that reduced our carbon emissions came from people on the shop floor. For example, in GE oil and gas facilities in Florence and Massa, Italy, they reduced 43 million tons of carbon just by 2 ideas they had implemented in all our facilities. And stoke the flames of innovation. Innovation brings better progress, and continue to stretch. We are now on our 4th round of goals, setting up, you know, although GE disintegrated into 3 separate companies, it lives within the DNA of each company, and they have their targets. The first goal was to reduce emissions by 1% in 5 to 7 years. And we didn't know how we're going to do that. I was there and I remember. However, the focused effort showed us how much we can do when we ultimately received 32% reduction in the first 7 years. So it is, I think, doable. Ecomagination included is the realization that there is no finish line. We can always find new creative ways to establish a cleaner world while growing our business, and it is the kind of challenge our companies should thrive on. So, there is always a debate on which comes first, financial sustainability or sustainable finance. We are at a time that, like a chicken and an egg, one cannot have the first without the other, and etc. According to the Swiss reassurance company, not acting on climate will destroy around 18% of GDP by 2050. Further, according to a recent 2022 Deloitte report, climate inaction will cost the global economy 178 trillion over the next 5 decades. Simultaneously, if we can, accelerating our pace to net zero would add another 43 trillion to the global economy by 2070. I hope I have given you a glimpse of what is going on in the field of sustainability, prepared the ground for the great discussions during the rest of the day, and especially I hope that I have not bored you so early in the morning. One asks, usually these great meetings last 3 days. Today, you speak, you go at night, talk to your spouses, partners. Tomorrow, you go to the office, talk to your managers, and then the next day, you will remember to read a couple of articles that attract your attention, and then the next crisis, next deadline, next whatever comes into your life, and it fades. That's what happens with all of us. The devil is not in details, but it is in commitment and execution. If you are not where you think you should be, it is time to act, and there is no more time to lose. Thank you very much for listening to me.